have issued a 21-day ultimatum to the government to halt any plans geared towards tolling major public highways, saying the alternative presented through feeder roads will destabilize all movement in the country. Motorist Association of Kenya Chair Peter Mrima says the possibility of toll stations along major roads would mean Kenyans are double taxed, and that would be also double taxed for infrastructure that does not reflect the revenue it accrues for taxpayers. And as he backside now reports, the representatives for private and commercial vehicles and drivers say public participation for the sector before policy and regulation changes is barely used, leading to avoidable mishaps. The joint statement comes after Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen hinted at the possibility of tolling major roads for additional revenue collection.
About a week ago, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen listed several roads earmarked for expansion and tolling across the country aimed at raising more funds for the development of the very same roads. The project, he said, was meant to cost the government about 700 billion shillings, but would quickly begin adding to the ever-growing sources of revenue for the government. However, this proposition didn't sit well with many players in the industry.
So we want to say here and state categorically as stakeholders that our roads should remain public. And we are not going to allow roads to be run by private companies. Public roads are very important because they provide what you call freedom of movement, which is a constitutional right.
The overhead expenses of doing business in this country is scaring. You can't put food on the table because when fuel prices went up from 8% to 16% VAT, that crippled our operations. So as operators, we are asking the government to review that move. It is punitive. It does not make economic value.
The idea of tolling such major roads, they say, would mimic the road levy paid for in fuel, which already is meant to cater for the repair and expansion of roads.
The law states very clearly that when you provide a toll load, you should have an alternative for the users who doesn't want to use that. So it should be optional. But now the option we are being given, it is neglected. And that is why we fear when we are told that we are going to use the feeder roads, where this public road will be taken, and then we will be left to use the feeder roads.
The levy has gone up so high that it is hurting the mwananchi and the common man who drives. Not just the private drivers, but even the commercial. All of them are at pain.
Furthermore, they say the doubling of fuel VAT was already eating into profits, despite the expectation for fuel prices to come down, given the price per barrel of fuel internationally.
It was trebled to 18 shillings, staggering a whopping 18 shillings per litre. So if you count the fuel VAT, fuel levy, and then the toll roads, that will break the camel's back, definitely.
Dysfunctionality in the TIM services that was recently moved to the eCitizen platform was also a deterrent that they wanted addressed in their 21-day ultimatum.
As an association, we are petitioning the Director General NTSA that notice should be effected so that we do not have a total collapse from the TIM system to the eCitizen platform.
They now want the Roads and Transport Ministry to address these issues, lest they are forced to take drastic actions on the same. Now, players in the transportation sector are giving a 21-day ultimatum to the government to address the issues that they have brought forth. Otherwise, revenue generation will be compromised. Hibak Said for TV47 Nairobi.